Welcome to this week's Ohio Tech Report. We have a special guest co-host, but before we get to that, we got three stories we're going to be talking about, including a massive Ohio Cincinnati startup that's going public via a SPAC at a really big valuation. We're going to be talking about Ohio's role in trying to build a bigger EV part of our economy, especially in relationship to some of our neighboring states. And then number three, some really cool sci-fi tech that's happening up at NASA Glenn in Cleveland, Ohio, and what they're doing around asteroids and kind of preventing impact and that type of stuff. But before we begin, this is Ohio Tech Report presented by Zendesk. But want to introduce Naveed. Naveed is the founder and CEO of Dolr, a Columbus-based fintech. Naveed, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here and have this conversation. So much happening in Ohio.
Yeah. So Naveed, real quickly, and we'll get to this at the end as well, but tell us a little bit, what's the elevator pitch for Dolr?
We find people more money for their student loan repayment from where they work, live, and shop.
Awesome. Well, Naveed, thanks so much again for joining us. As I mentioned, this is the Ohio Tech Report presented by Zendesk. Without them, this conversation and the news that we're sharing wouldn't be possible. And a little bit about Zendesk is that they were built upon a simple idea: make customer service software that's easy to use and accessible to everyone. Their customer service and engagement products are powerful and flexible and scale to meet the needs of any business. They serve businesses across hundreds of industries with more than 145,000 paid customers accounts offering service and support in more than 30 languages. They're headquartered in San Francisco, Zendesk is, but they operate worldwide. You can learn more at www.zendesk.com. And as they like to say, the best customer experiences are built with Zendesk. So Naveed, if you're ready to go, we are going to dive right into it. And so for story number one, as I mentioned in the opening, is that Cincinnati-based startup GRIID Infrastructure has confirmed plans to go public. They're going to do it via a SPAC, and they are a Bitcoin mining startup valued at $3.3 billion. And as a quick aside, it's founded by a Miami University alum, my school, which is another cool thing. But massive, massive news. Bitcoin, fintech, kind of the future of money. And I know that's an area that you're passionate about with the team at Dolr.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting, right? Like $3.3 billion is a lot of money. SPAC, like that's, you hear about this from the coast, but that's happening right here in Cincinnati. I think it's awesome. And I'm so jealous of Cincinnati, I'll be honest with you, because they have all the fintech stuff going down there, right? Like, let's come to Columbus, right? Like, let's all hang out. Phoenix is there, Bay Theory is there. We've got just a bunch of great companies down there doing really cool stuff with money.
Yeah, it really is. And what's cool with this like fintech space, and certainly Bitcoin and kind of digital currencies, that's one part of it. But you don't really hear about these, especially Bitcoin mining. If you read the Journal or CNBC or something, it's like it's all happening in like China or Iceland or something like that. And one of the cool things with this, news about GRIID was as it happened, so many people were like, "Did you know about this? Did you know about this company?" And I think for a lot of people, the first time they may have probably heard about them was when they're going public, $3.3 billion valuation. One of the bigger Ohio success stories this year for certain.
I love this because it's so common in the Midwest, right? Where people just get to work and get the thing done. And then you hear about them. And it's always infrastructure, right? It's not just the top level stuff. It's like the underneath everything is powered here, built here in Ohio. It pleases me a lot to hear.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's a great point about like the types of companies that are being built. A lot of B2B, a lot of things around healthcare or manufacturing. I joke in a lot of our stuff that the next TikTok is probably not going to be built in Ohio, but that's okay. Like it's the really, really important stuff that, makes all of this work, from financial services to the insurance industries to healthcare to transportation and manufacturing. It's all really, really important stuff, but really cool story. We'll link that in the show comments. We're going on to story number two, and this is around Ohio leaders, and they're promoting EV, electric vehicle manufacturing, amid competition. And so this is a story of how the Ohio State House, so kind of a story about elected officials and public policymakers, that they, a little bit of a fear, and that competition is a good thing, I think, about how, neighboring states like Indiana and Michigan are doing a ton of work around EV. And so they created this 10-member commission to help drive electric vehicle production in the state. It also voted to enact a 5-year sales tax break for the production of engines, batteries, brakes, and other components that are made strictly for EVs. And another kind of story of something that's emerging, certain pockets of the state, like the Mahoning Valley, which they're calling Voltage Valley, a lot of this is going on. But I think more and more we're going to see opportunities like this, and kind of building up this other, emerging part of our economy.
I'm so excited about it. So, we've always heard about what's going on in the Mahoney Valley. And I've always been thinking, like, are we going to start seeing that beyond just there, right? Like, there was a big acquisition recently and all of that stuff. So let's see, when can we jump into an electric vehicle, like, and have an Uber ride to downtown
Yeah.
or something, right?
Well, it is cool. And, the Mahoning Valley, which is for those that aren't familiar, it's kind of Youngstown and the counties north and south of it. But if you also look at Goodyear, which Goodyear, Firestone, Akron has been this rubber capital for literally decades. So many of the tire, but they're doing so much more than tire. And Goodyear is a great partner of ours where we've, had some of their leaders speak and kind of will tell some of the stories happening there. But they're doing a ton of work, which is really exciting. And it's not just around the tire technology, it's around, all this autonomous vehicles and like just that future of travel and transportation, which is a ton of fun to watch. We're going to go on to story number 3. This is one you can definitely geek out over, but this is tech from Cleveland's NASA Glenn Research Center, which is like our NASA kind of facility in the state, certainly in the Cleveland area, how they are part of a NASA mission to prevent asteroid impact. So, as the news story that we'll link to says, Cleveland could help play a small part in saving the world, even if it is in the unlikely event humanity ever ends up having to defend itself against an apocalyptic asteroid impact. Because some of the research at Glenn is being incorporated some of these missions, but it's really cool. And again, kind of the theme of this is this conversation, Naveed. We're talking about things that maybe people don't know about, but NASA has a really, really important and big facility up in the Cleveland area doing some really cool work.
So we need Bruce Willis to move here just to really make sure everything is fine, right? No, I love it, right? Just imagine you like where in the world, right? Like we're building technology to make sure big rocks don't crash into Earth.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Well, Naveed, those are our top 3 stories. So really cool stuff around startups going public, NASA and kind of asteroids and real big sci-fi stuff, talking about EVs and kind of the future of transportation and electric vehicles. So a ton going on this week in Ohio, as usual with our tech sector. But Naveed, maybe a final parting comment. How can people learn about you? We'll certainly in the comments below link both your LinkedIn and your website at Dollar. But any final parting comments about what y'all are up to?
We strongly believe that building in Columbus is the best decision we've ever made. So you can find us at getdollar.com, getdolr.com. Would love to talk more.
Yeah, doing amazing work, Naveed. So thanks all you do. And he's being a little modest. Him and his team, they're not from Ohio. They've come from places like Florida in order to build here. And so we're lucky to have them. Companies like yours, Naveed, can go to so many different places. And so to be in Columbus, be in Ohio, is a real testament to what you're building and hopefully kind of the ecosystem that's being built here and the tech hub that we're also passionate about. But Naveed, thanks so much. Thanks for joining us. To our viewers and listeners, thanks for being here. We also want to thank again Zendesk. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.